So what are we making today? Yes, we're going to do some brown bread. This is a very simple, easy recipe. In total, this is 900 grams of flour, 700 grams of wholemeal flour, and 200 grams of white flour, 18 grams of salt, 18 grams of wholemeal improver, and 28 grams of yeast. You can use dried yeast if you want, just check the description for how much you need. In here we got water, and this is 700 grams of water. All these ingredients are at room temperature at 20 Celsius. Like previously we've done other recipes, you get your flour and just add in your dry ingredients. Now with your water, just add your yeast in and just make sure it's all well dissolved. And if you're using dried yeast, make sure that's well dissolved, because obviously it's a bit harder. And now for your mixing, we're going to put all these ingredients into the mixing bowl and we're going to mix them together for 1 minute on first speed. Then once again, we're going to do our usual and knock it onto second speed for 5 minutes. Then halfway through, just check it again and then mix it on for the last 5 minutes on second speed. And in total, on second speed, you're mixing it for about 10 minutes. If your machine's a little bit slower, then mix it for a bit longer, because I find my machine tends to want to mix it for at least 12 minutes. All depends on your machine. It's important with wholemeal flour, it does suck up a lot of water. So remember, just to keep an eye on it, you don't want it too slack, and then you don't really want it too hard. But just keep an eye on it. So that's 5 minutes in, so we'll just check the dough. Yeah, that's quite soft actually, but I'm still going to leave it because I think it'll be fine. Just give that a good mix. In fact, I might just add a little bit more flour. A handful will be enough. And we'll just mix that now for another 5 minutes. So our dough's ready. What we're going to do is just spray a little bit of spray oil around. Just makes it easier to come out the bowl. So that's your dough. We're going to cut that into 2 pieces. Roughly, it's going to be around about 800 grams a piece. Just mould these round. And we'll just cover them over for around about 10 minutes. So in the meantime, you want 2 bread tins. You can see these are slightly different to the ones I've used previously. They're quite lower than normal, but most of the time I use this type of tin for granary. That's malt cob, if anybody knows what that is. And all I've done is greased round each of the tin with some prep spray, which you can get off of my eBay store. The link is in the description. Right, our dough's ready. So we'll now mould those up into the tins. Very simple. All we need to just pull them out a bit, over you go, and push them down and just roll them over. And that's it. Make sure the seam goes down and put it straight into the tin. Same with this one. So that's the wet side up. Pull them out a bit. Like that. Okay, just fold them over. And then just get these parts like this and push it down flat and just roll them over. So that seam there goes in the bottom of the tin. Now we're going to get these into our prover. They're going to prove for around about, I would say about, good take 45 minutes. And we'll see you back in half an hour because it's a good time to check them. And also in around about half an hour's time, get the oven on. So it's now time to check our brown bread. Hopefully it's almost there. So looking at the bread, to me, it looks so it wants around about another 15 minutes, which I did expect to. I mean, I did think 3/4 of an hour would have been about right. And looking at it, it's on the money. It's now time to get your oven on. Your oven temperature wants to be about 210 to 220 Celsius. Now for baking our brown bread, and we're going to be baking these round for about 20 to 30 minutes, give or take. It all depends on your oven. I prefer my oven a little bit lower to pull. So once it hits the heat a little bit, it just pulls up. It's a scoring lane. There we go. It's just simple razor blade and a stick. And all we're going to do is just put a nice little line across the top. Like that. Same on this one. So we'll get them straight into the oven. Our bread's ready, so we're going to get it out. Well, there you go, folks. Doesn't that look a nice loaf of bread? You can see that beautiful baking. And this is just straight, well, I think we could call that probably an 80% loaf, because I've used wholemeal and white flour. And that is actually a very, very lovely loaf of bread. Yeah, I'm well impressed with that. Mrs. Crazy Baker said we are not allowed to cut them up because she's selling them in the shop, she said. So we're not going to be able to cut them up, but I'm telling you now, that is going to be a beautiful loaf. Well, there you go, folks. Wasn't that nice and easy? I try to make my recipes as easy as I can possibly do for you guys, because at the end of the day, if you can't follow them, what's the point of me making them? So it's like that. So if you want the recipe, check out the description, because that is where you're going to find it. Also, whilst you're down there, you'll find lots and lots of playlists of content I've already done for the last 3 years. And I think we're over 300 or 400 recipes down there. Not sure. Last time I remember looking, it was something like about 380. But since then, that was I think that was in the summer last year. And if you like this type of content, please subscribe and please share. And we'll see you again very shortly on the Crazy Baker channel. Laters!